Well, will President-elect Donald Trump's businesses test a constitutional limit? Mr. Trump was asked about it in a meeting with the New York Times today, and he told them that the law is totally on his side and that he's actually phasing himself out to turn the company over to his children. He also told the Times that he could run both his company and the nation at the same time. But he won't do that. Oh, goodness. And Mr. Trump also weighed in on blind trusts, saying that they're not necessary in his opinion. But in this case, he will use one anyway. So how on earth is all of this going to work? Charles Payne, host of Making Money, and Deborah Blum is a criminal defense attorney. Welcome to you both. Charles, how do you ensure that a company that has operated in 110 places, 18 countries, is going to not have a conflict of interest with the White House?
Well, there will be conflicts of interest, there's no doubt. He's got 16 in India, 13 in United Arab Emirates, 12 in Canada. The idea, though, is that Donald Trump specifically doesn't profit from it and somehow distance himself. But you know what I do believe is interesting is, people need to consider right now that, for instance, Congress, we've got a lot of people who became rich after they were elected. We've got a lot of people in Congress who can actually do insider trading. You want to talk about profiting from your office?
Okay, but we're talking about the president of the United States here, so let's stay focused on that.
I am focused on it, but the notion that someone could go to D.C. and somehow not have a conflict of interest, business interest, it's out there already.
All right, Deborah, let's go to you. The president is exempt from conflict of interest laws as the president of the United States. He addressed that with the New York Times today. But his children aren't. So how would this work if his children were running the company?
Well, first I want to address the fact that this is a very unique situation. We have a president for the first time who's running a major business empire while he's transitioning to POTUS. He can't simultaneously be the leader of his vast business empire and commander-in-chief. And he was very critical of Hillary Clinton.
But he said he's out. He's out. The children are going to be put in place. He's talking about some kind of a blind trust arrangement.
Well, basically,
how would that work?
I don't know how we could say that it's blind and that it falls under that definition. He wants to have security clearance for his 3 children, and yet he also wants them to lead his business interests. And, we all know that he's going to speak with them about it, so there needs to be a very clear firewall if this is going to work.
All right, so Charles, how does this work? The Constitution addresses this, Article 1, Section 9. Right. Let me put on my history cap here for a second. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emollient office or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. This is part of what we've been dealing with the Clinton Foundation, just investigations into potential pay to play. How do you handle this situation?
And there are some Republicans, by the way, who are questioning and who are critical of this. I think push come to shove, ultimately maybe the structure will be executives who already are working for Donald Trump in his business. Listen, let's not forget that he spent almost 2 years crisscrossing the nation running for president. So his businesses still ran, they still operated, they were still great places to go visit and have fun. So if he wants his children more involved in the White House, then more than likely he'll set up the blind trust where his executives are completely in control and he is 100% at arm's length.
And that's the key to it. Is that correct? This is part of the work that you do, a blind trust. You have someone who does not have family ties, who completely stays away from the White House and all of those decisions.
I agree. I agree that I think he needs to bring up some executives from within his country, not his family, to be completely beyond reproach in this matter. Right. Because otherwise he's having his kids who are helping him right now transition to be president, and then he has them running his business empire. It just doesn't work.
What an incredibly thorny issue, though.
We've never had it before.
It's a privately run company. Public companies are subject to much more scrutiny. It's much easier to keep things sort of under the radar with a private company. But now we're talking about a private company that's being run by the family or some partners.
It's really difficult, but particularly, you're talking about Kushner and of course, Ivanka, who really has her father's ear. I would ultimately believe that they'll have a set of executives as a top layer and maybe 1 or 2 kids, but I would think that there will be some sort of a wall, some sort of division to make the American public feel satisfied.
You know who's going to love this? The press. The press. They are going to be just digging into every single business deal that they conduct.
Kushner is now being possibly named to help with Israel. It's just a very different situation than we've seen before. But, you know, we've had JFK and his family members. So this has happened in the past.
All right, Deborah Blum. Never, I think, at this level, though. And Charles Payne, great to see you both. Great to have you. Thank you so much.